All right, so this is our living room. It is a very long, narrow room. And so I've just walked in from the front door, and this is our fireplace. It is a non-functioning fireplace. So in the winter, I put little electric logs in here. And then in the summer, I fill it with vintage books. I've talked about this, that my vintage books went away. I think my son accidentally took them to the thrift store. And so I've been rebuying this summer to fill up this little space. And I love little children's chairs, so I have several, and these are just different. So I made that little hen. It's called the Emotional Support Chicken on Ravelry, and it was a lot of fun to make. And so her name is Jane. That's her little shawl, like Jane Eyre. And then I have a couple of vintage Stife, a little bear and a little kitty cat that are in the red chair that I bought at an estate sale for $2 each. And then my husband bought me that little Stife, other little teddy bear when we were at Epcot Center for my birthday last year. So this is the fireplace. And then I bought this oil painting at an estate sale earlier this summer. So that's the fireplace. All right, so this is where I film. And so you never see this view because that's behind the camera, but I just have this gate leg table here. It's actually needing to be replaced. I bought it at an auction and it's really in bad shape, but the idea was that I could lift up this drop leaf. I'm sorry the lighting is bad, but use it as a second table. This is my candle drippy plate that I've talked about before. I just moved it here because I've been moving things around. And then, oh, the lighting's terrible. Hold on. Okay, we'll see if this is any better. So these are Louis Sherry candy tins that I collect and when I can find them. This is new. This is just a little two-piece that you can buy, and so I had bought that. If you don't know what this is, it's an old-time candy company. It's actually in the movie Meet Me in St. Louis. They talk about it, but I just love the tins. I think they're beautiful. They've got little violets on them. They tend to be pink. This blue one is not a Louis Sherry. It's just another candy tin that I found. And then this is a little doll that I made. This is Mini Me. So this is supposed to be me. There's her glasses, her gray hair, and the yarns that I used are from garments that I have knitted for myself. So she's sitting there in her tiny chair. And then this is a little crystal. I shared this really early days on. I put a striker sticker on the bottom of a piece of crystal, a little crystal container, and put matches in that, and that's here for my candle plate. All right, so this is the couch that's, again, out of frame when I film, but it's a couch. And these are just big pillows that I've made over the years. And then the kitty cat on the back, we just had a Daiso open down the street, and I spent enough on day one that I got a little cat, and I'm allergic to cats, and so that's my little pet for now. And then this little corner, that bromeliad was a gift from my son for Mother's Day, and this is where I do my Bible study in the morning. So that's that little corner. And then coming around here, my husband's a real plant lover, so that's his fig. My spinning wheel is tucked there in the corner. I have not spun in a couple of years, but it's there. And then this is an antique smoking stand, and I use it for people to be able to put their coffee if they're sitting on the end of the couch. And then this is always behind me, obviously, when I'm filming. That's a giant Christmas cactus that I bought at an estate sale. And they said they thought it was about 50 years old when I bought it. So it's really a fun find. And then this is my gallery wall, and I need to put that picture that's on the floor in it, but it's gonna take a bunch of rearranging, so I just haven't made the time to do that. So these are all just mostly prints. There's a couple of, actual paintings, but they're just landscapes that I have found throughout the years, and just filled it up, and it's not, balanced. I just hang things as I acquire them. And then, just pillows. Oh, that lamp people have asked me about. So, again, sorry, thrifted. And then I found this little lampshade. It's actually a set of two. There's one that's more autumn colored at an estate sale. And I just thought it was really cute with that little cottage. It just went with all of my landscapes, I thought. So, and then an unaesthetic light for when I needlepoint in that chair. All right, and then this is the other side of the room, so to the left of the front door. And this needlepoint chair I got at an estate sale for $35. I was so stoked to find it, and it's just beautiful. And then these are just thrifted needlepoint pillows that I've bought, you know, at places. And then more houseplants. And then this is an old chair that I got at an estate sale for $5. And so that's really my TV sitting chair. And then these lamps, so this lamp I actually bought at an estate sale, and she had cobbled it together. So she made this from various parts. The Tiffany lamps on the other side of the room came from Amazon. All right, so as you leave the living room, you come into our dining area, and I don't know. So this is an old table and chairs. I just painted, it's, you know, 1970s, and I painted these chairs in all different colors using chalk paint several years ago. And then that's my corner cabinet. I decorated it this weekend for the wedding. And so it's got the kids' pictures and just some vintage cake toppers. I usually put those out at Valentine's Day, but I thought it would be cute for the holiday, you know, for our celebration this weekend. And then most of you, oh, I'll turn the light on, sorry. Most of y'all have seen, this is my clock wall. I've gone through that. And then my goal is to go all the way across the top of this doorway with clocks. So I'm making my way around. And then I have a couple of vintage clocks on top of the corner cabinet. So I do have a plate wall in here. And this is my rule. They have to be white, you know, ivory with some gold, and they have to be places that my husband and I have been together or have lived. So it goes across here, and then there's that big pocket watch that I got last weekend at an estate sale. And then that's the stairs to my bedroom, to our bedroom. And then, you know, there's like little domed doorways, and then this little niche, I'm sure was probably a telephone niche at one point, but currently I just have it decorated with all of my Beatrix Potter things and little figurines from Peter Rabbit. Okay, even at its best, this is kind of a mess, but this is a big built-in cabinet that's part of the house. And obviously I keep a lot of my dishes. So I have my, oh, the glare is terrible, I'm sorry. There's my transferware. I've got some fall colored transferware that I use at Thanksgiving. I've got colored glass, crystal-y things, and then I have a collection of hillbilly mugs and coffee hound mugs that are up there. And then just various glassware. I was really into Corningware for a couple of years, so I've got lots of, you know, some Corningware. I got rid of a lot, but I have the little doll dishes that I just love. And then I've got this set of magnolia china, and then white china that was my grandmother's, and then my Port Marion plates are in there as well. This is my kitchen, and it's a very small house, so we have a lot of stuff. So I use a Corningware percolator every day for my coffee, and then these are our everyday dishes, and then along the top is all of our very non-aesthetic coffee cups, but that's what we use. And so, you know, I love the glass fronted cabinets, but you know, I'm not that neat and tidy. So it has a decent amount of storage for as small as my house is, but you know, it's still pretty jumbled because I'm kind of a hoarder. All right, and on this side, I have hung postcards from various places that we visited, and the goal is to fill these entire cabinets. So I just did that recently, so I've got some things to grow into, which will be fun. And then on my kitchen windowsill, my husband does a lot of, you know, rooting, and so we just put those in various bottles, and it's not very aesthetic, but you know, this is where we live. So that's the kitchen.